Hello, Trailblazers. Welcome to today's ISV series episode. Today we are covering computer telephony integration based on Unaric voice. Our speakers are Dieter Härle, the Managing Director of Unaric Voice, and Annika Seewald, their Senior Account Executive. In terms of structure, today we'll be having, as normal, an intro, followed by rather extended live demo, and in the end, we'll also leave some space for questions. You can put your questions at any time in the QA channel, which is already live. We are very happy to collaborate, and the other user group leaders couldn't make it today with the Veracruz user group in Mexico and with the Campinas developer group in Brazil. That said, I would hand over to our kind speakers. The stage is yours.
René, thank you for the invitation. And yeah, we are happy to show you 3 solutions from us. The main solution, of course, Teams Telephony. The second solution, Teams Meetings. And the third one is so brand new that it's not on the market yet available. So you should see my screen right now.
Yes.
Yeah, so we have a quick introduction, and then I tell you a bit about Mirage and Unaric, and then a product overview about Unaric Voice and Unaric Meetings for Microsoft Teams. Then we have live demos, and then quick intro about a brand new product, Unaric Availability and Contact Information, also Teams related. And then a summary with key takeaways in the Q&A session. So we have enough time to cover your questions. Yeah, Mirage is part of the Unaric group. Unaric group is building a large number of ISV solutions. Right now we have 16 different solutions, from inventory management, payment solution, LinkedIn plugin, e-commerce solution, org chart. The big advantage for you is that you have one vendor, and for example, you buy from us the voice product, and then you are interested in a scan product or org chart product, and then you have just one contract where you can buy all different products. Yeah, just a few figures. Within the group, we have 10,000 connected Salesforce instances, over 2,000 customers. We get a new member in the group before Dreamforce, which adds another 1,000 customers. Yeah, we handle a lot of calls, 25 million manually per year. And from our customers, it's really from very small, like 5-10 users, to very large. Our largest customers with the Teams voice integration has 4,500 users, because Teams is a topic from very small, mid-sized to large companies. And also we are talking today about the Teams integration. Mirage started with a unique approach that we can integrate over 100 telephone systems. So we can integrate the typical on-premise systems like an Cisco, Avaya, but also systems like a 𝗨𝗏𝗏𝗏, which are available on-premise or hosting, or in Germany, 𝗨𝗏𝗏𝗏 is a major vendor, as well as ** telephone systems. So if you have an existing telephone system, we can most likely integrate it. And even if you have different branches or countries with different telephone systems in one Salesforce org, we can handle that. And the main point is it's directly integrated in Salesforce. It's, of course, in and outbound calls, but much more. And yeah, capturing call data, but also live agent dashboards, SMS sending, and other stuff. And why are we talking today about Teams? So we are very long time in business, this year 30 years, and with Salesforce over 15 years. But yeah, 1 or 2 years before Corona, we found out, okay, Microsoft Teams telephony is getting more and more popular. And then it was really a huge push with Corona that people switched to Teams for meetings. And then it's, yeah, quite logical also to use Microsoft Teams for telephone calls. And right now, if you switch from an on-premise system to a cloud telephone system and you already have Office in place, it's in the end huge advantage. You can manage Teams centrally worldwide. You do not need to install another telephone soft phone because you already have the Teams client. It's the same with the mobile. You have Teams for mobile, and it's in your security environment because it's using Office. So there are a lot of reasons why it makes sense to switch to a telephone system using Microsoft Teams. And we can connect natively. I later show that in a technical chart. We are the only one on the App Exchange who do not have a contact center in between. So the typical Teams integration is having Microsoft Teams, and above Teams you have a contact center, and then you have Salesforce. And all the calls go to the contact center, and Teams is in the end like the soft phone where you handle the calls. We do have a different approach. We integrate natively in Teams. That means no contact center in between. You have your team set up with the queues, with the IVR, with the voicemail, and then we use that. Yeah. So in the end, it's really your existing Teams and Salesforce, and we connect through our Teams connector. And offering a lot of functionalities. Yeah, let's start with the Teams phone integration. So you can make calls from Salesforce and you can make calls from the Teams client. We automatically log everything, and it even does not matter if you are logged in Salesforce. So let's say you are traveling and you are getting a call, then we can also log that call directly in Salesforce. And we do have a Service Cloud voice integration. So perhaps you know it, Salesforce has 2 different ways to integrate computer telephony. One is Service Cloud Voice, which is a contact center solution and typically ideal in service with contact centers. And the other one is the standard CTI integration, which is the perfect solution for sales administration, just if you don't need a contact center. The difference is a bit in the user interface in Salesforce. So one user interface is more contact center related and the other one more sales related. Yeah, before we start with the presentation, a few features. So in Salesforce, and that was our goal, to have everything in Salesforce, we can do a complete Office 365 directory search. So you want to call a colleague, then we have the Office 365 directory as well as the Salesforce user list. Of course, we have a present state synchronization in 2 directions. So for example, today you have the meeting in your Outlook calendar. When the meeting is due, your Teams goes to in a meeting, which we would synchronize to Salesforce. So also all the other Salesforce users through a dashboard would see that you are in a meeting. But of course, you can set the presence state manually in Salesforce to busy or away, and then it's synchronizing it to Teams. Then we have a live agent dashboard that gives you additional how long some other information where you can see the present state plus information for the colleagues, and we have a wallboard where you can monitor all in and outbound calls. We have an SMS functionality that's can be used by sales. So you call someone, you don't reach him, then you can directly send him an SMS from Salesforce, and the SMS is also protocoled. Or you have a use case with service. Of course, it can also be used and you can the user can post that. Does the other one see the main office number, or does he see the direct extension number, or do you make an outbound call using queue? So for example, a salesperson selects that the direct extension number is shown. So if someone wants to call back, he is directly getting the salesperson, while someone from support wants to show a queue number, like support queue German, and then if he gets a call back. Yeah, we can also call via the email address. So and that's right now for internal call. We do have two types of integration. We have a premium connector, which allows call recording, but it's important we use the native Teams call recording. That means all the call recording is stored in your Azure and not in our cloud. It's the same with the transcription, and it's the same with the recap if you have a Copilot license. So all is stored in your Azure, and we have a link in the telephone call in the task object where you just click on a button, and then you get the recording, the transcription, the recap. If you need a compliance recording, we work together with Call Cabinet. They offer compliance recording. Yeah, then there's a feature to log calls while you are absent. So let's say you log out from Salesforce and then you get a call, and then we can log a task. We also added a feature which is not available with the standard Teams integration, listen in and join in. So you can define if a team lead can listen into calls or even join a call. It's then like a conference call. And we do have, that's brand new, the release was a week ago, a Teams add-in, which supports additional features. I have another slide for that one. And we can also log in Salesforce if a caller terminates the call while he is still waiting in a queue. The difference to a report in Teams is that we can identify the caller because it works in the way if the telephone number of the caller is already a contact or lead or account in Salesforce, then we can protocol, okay, he terminate the call while he waited, and we can find the name and create a task for that contact. You could generate an email, and then you could call him back. So that's all depending how you are working. Very super interesting features and giving you additional functionality which you don't have with standard Teams. Now, what is brand new is that we have a Teams add-in. The Teams add-in now gives also functionalities which you don't get with the normal Teams client function. So when a call comes in, we can make a caller identification and show in our Teams add-in the name of the caller. It's then the same with the call history. You are not at your desk, a call comes in, it makes in the background the caller identification, and in the call history list, you see then the name of the caller. Yeah, and then this is a bit extended functionality. So if you are locked out of Salesforce and you are traveling, and then we can log each in and outbound call with additional information, start time, end time of the call, duration, and that stuff. Yeah, what we will add in the next release is that in Teams, you can directly search lead and account and contact name, get the phone numbers so that you do not need to switch to Salesforce. And it's a complete mobile support for iOS and Android. You see here a screenshot on the left side where you have in the end all the information, but with Salesforce data. And the last option is a reverse search. So you type in a telephone number and then you call. And while the call is initiated, we make a search in Salesforce and directly show you the caller name. So then the call is also protocoled with the name. Yeah, last slide, technical setup. So it's really important. It's native in Teams. That means you have your Office 365. You have the landline connected with a zip trunk and session border controller, which is called direct routing, or you can have a Microsoft calling plan. In the end, it's your existing setup with the telephone numbers, and the call comes into Office as it comes today. The main difference is that when a call comes to a direct extension number or queue, a bot from us is informed, and we use technically the Graph API from Salesforce. And the bot gives an information to our cloud service, inbound call, and that's this telephone number. And the cloud service then sends an event to Salesforce with exactly the number information and inbound call. And then you see the Salesforce logic starting. So it's searching the number, showing the caller, open the latest opportunity. You can define what happens when a call comes in, also what happens if the same number is multiple times in Salesforce, that you get a list with all findings. And we are completely GDPR compliant because we don't store anything in the cloud. The cloud is just handling the call events. Yeah, so in the end, you click on a hold button in Salesforce, then it goes to the cloud, call on hold, it goes to the bot, call on hold, and the bot sets the Teams client on hold. And all the other information is just going through the cloud, but we don't save anything. All data from a telephone call is saved in Salesforce. So here's the basic call data. Yeah, the telephone node, start time, end time, if a call was transferred, how long was the waiting time, and that stuff. And if you activate the call recording, then we store it in your SharePoint. So if you activate during a call, the call recording or the transcription, or if you have Copilot or Teams Premium, which allows to make a recap, we store everything in your SharePoint, but we link the SharePoint information with the call in Salesforce. So you can directly click from the call record in Salesforce and you get the information from SharePoint. Yeah. But yeah, there's nothing we save in our cloud. And yeah, now is a good to start the live demo, which Annika will do and show you how everything is working. Annika, I'm handing over to you.
Yes, let me share the screen, and I hope now you should see the Sales Cloud.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. So the first view that we are seeing is a live agent dashboard. This is showing the availability of each user inside of Salesforce. As Dieter mentioned, we have a bidirectional synchronization between the present state of Teams and Salesforce. So no matter if I would change my status and availability in Salesforce, this will be communicated into Teams and vice versa. Okay, so I see the availability of every user, and if I want to have access to our CTI, we have a look to the left corner on the utility bar. If I click on the Unaric voice icon here, I get a pop-up where I have access to the basically soft phone area to be able to make calls, or I can actively search for my colleagues to get the information if they are available or not, having basic functionalities as a standard soft phone. All right, but to be able to see the full magic when we are getting some calls in, I would initiate an incoming call. So let me just quickly dial in. And okay, good. So what we are currently seeing is already in Salesforce the informations of the caller. I do take the call inside of Teams, in the Teams toaster. So that's the pop-up of Teams. We are supporting every client of Teams. That means even if you would prefer to use your mobile phone wall when a call is coming in, you can still see in Salesforce all the informations about the contact itself, the relevant object you would like to see when a call is taken. But technically, the voice part is operating in the MS Teams app on your smartphone. So both clients are supported. You can, the first call of the morning, you are taking it on your desktop. The next call, you are taking it on a smartphone. It doesn't matter from our side what you would prefer. After I took that call, two things are happening inside of Salesforce. The first thing, it's opening the last open opportunity of the contact. In this case, it's Michael Anderson is calling, and we have this opportunity opened. This is a configuration question, and depending on the use case that you want to cover. If you are looking on the service use case, you could say a case is more relevant. You would like to see the last open case. Maybe a custom object is of interest for your telephony behaviors. From our side, we are supporting any kind of object you would like to see related to the account or contact. Of course, you will always have access to the account or contact also directly from the CTI window. These are links. Any kind of fields that you would like to show inside of the CTI can be shown here. We are currently seeing the language field, but it doesn't really have a limitation. Usually 4 or 5 fields can be shown here. For sales, it could be what kind of products does the customer maybe already have or are interested in. If that's a field on the account or the contact page, you can show it here. And for the service, it could be something like, is there a service level agreement or not? Having a look to the call handling possibilities. So you can forward the call, you can put the call on hold, you can end the call completely inside of Salesforce. Call forwarding is also interesting because we have a bit more possibilities with our Teams integration. So in the standard, you can search inside of your Salesforce directory of available users. If I need to forward the call, I can directly see, okay, Tom Evans is currently not available. The present state is on do not disturb. So most probably it doesn't make sense to forward that call. I am constantly capable of informing and speaking with my customer at this stage to directly explain to them the person he tried to reach is not available, as example. On top of that, we do have access on the complete Office directory. So since our bot is sitting in Azure, we do have the possibility to search for users inside of Teams who doesn't have a Salesforce license, so no access to Salesforce, but available in Teams. You can search them and also get the information about their present state. Last but not least, and very interesting if it's maybe a central user who is forwarding a lot of calls, we are also supporting the forwarding into queues. So if I would, as example, be in a different sales department and I would like to forward that call to an existing sales queue, not a single user, we do have access to the queues inside of Teams, and we can use them to forward calls initiated from Salesforce, but the forwarding is then landing in a queue inside of Teams. Okay, but I would now not forward this call. We would cancel the transfer and proceed with the direct call. Phone note field, I can type in any kind of notes of the call that I think is relevant. Maybe this customer has an interest into a quote, and then I could select a sales related call result that I want to send a quote. That would be my call result for this call. Later on, these results will be saved in Salesforce as an own field, perfectly available for reportings. So you can use these call result lists perfectly suitable to your use case. These are pick lists that you can define. The first drop down is about to group your call results, and the second drop down, it's your pick list defined for that group. So let your imaging play. It doesn't need to be just sales and service like in a classical way. It can also be based on your products to get detailed informations about maybe your product A, and you want to understand from the last 100 calls, especially what kind of outcomes were there. All right, and the last drop down, it's all about to create something in Salesforce or initiate something. Just imagine if this would be a call which is not saved in Salesforce as a contact, you are able to create a new contact. Just by clicking on the contact page, you are in the contact creation. This is supporting any kind of object, even custom objects inside of Salesforce can be initiated from this list. And you can configure it on different user groups. Different user groups inside of Salesforce has different configurations and access inside of the CTI. So it's a very, mutable. The second topic that you can use this dropdown is to initiate a flow. I have now a lead qualification form initiated via flow, but this can be anything. If you want to have an email template sent out automatically during the call to the client, you could create a flow on that and name that mail as an action in this pick list. All right, the assignment itself, it defines where I will save this call inside of Salesforce. The CTI is always mapping what kind of object is opened in behind. So if I would now open a different account, it will ask me in red if I want to assign maybe this object. All right, good. That was incoming call and call handling in general, very, very fast explained. Before I would end that call and show how it's saved in Salesforce, I will very quickly jump back to the live agent dashboard I showed at the beginning. Because now we have action here. It's not just about to see the present state and availability of your users. You also get active information, live information, what's happening in terms of telephony with your users. So my user here is Sarah Smart. I'm currently on a call, and I see in a call info that this is an incoming call with Michael Anderson. Now, if I would be a supervisor, I could have a possibility to maybe listen in or join that call directly accessible from this dashboard view, or just in general, if I have a complaint, I'm asking for help from my supervisor, he could firstly use the dashboard, jump into the contact, get a touch point about the topics, and then maybe decide to enter that call. So for training purposes, for help or assistance, this is a very nice feature. And directly nearby from the live agent dashboard, oh, sorry, I would like to go into live view. We have a wallboard, and the wallboard is showing a general information only from the assigned users into that wallboard. So you can have multiple different wallboards where you would connect users that you want to map. And we are separating landline calls to Teams calls. Both are operated via Teams. The one is PSTN, that is the landline, and the second one is like Teams meetings, or if a colleague is having via Teams a conversation with their other colleagues, you would get these informations in this wallboard. Then we have a separation between inbound, outbound calls, the activities about how many are active, how many are ringing, the average talk time, what kind of queues are currently active. I made a direct extension call to in this demo now, but if you would have different queues, maybe 3 different sales queues, you could have 3 different sales queues showed up here, and you will see the activity as a live information inside of Salesforce. All right, but that was a very quick jump into the live views. I go back to the call and would now say, okay, Michael Anderson is already happy. He wants to have a quote. I end this call. And now I still define, after ending the regular call, to maybe choose my next action. Maybe I want to create a task for tomorrow just for me to, as a reminder, to send out that quote. So I'm initiating the task creation from the CTI, landing here, having all the informations automatically pasted from that call. So date for tomorrow, the contact and the opportunity. And I just choose to send a quote as a reminder. I'm saving that task. And now we are jumping to the contact to see what happens after that call. So we see here, the task is created, assigned to the contact, but here we have the just made call. In the subject line, we see this is an inbound call with the time when the call was operated and my call result. If I open up the quick view, I see in the description my phone note. Basically, these are all the informations that are sufficient for the agent to understand what was happening in the previous calls. To be able to see what we are capable of saving of these calls, I would now open up this task. So we have a bit more fields filled with information. Just as a quick note, if you would have recorded that call, we are capable of linking SharePoint, so the direct origin of the recording into every task automatically. So this would be the area where the media file is happening, and we get an additional button where you can directly access SharePoint. But on top of that, we get dedicated information about calls like ring time, the total call duration, hold time, the active call time, when the call was started, was the call transferred. So any kind of these informations can be then used for reportings. I'm just showing one dashboard as an example what you can do with these informations and historical metrics. So how many unsuccessful calls you maybe had, you can dedicate to separate where you get your calls from based on account, contacts, or leads, total call time, how was the results from these calls, inbound, outbound activity. Also very interesting, which day times you receive your calls in average. So you can have a bit touch feeling when your customer is trying to reach you the most, as example. Then we get informations from queues or the missed calls. So very general, but relevant informations directly available inside of Salesforce, but there are multiple different options and possibilities to create reportings. This is just an example. All right, that's pretty much basic incoming call, saving the call in Salesforce. And if I have a look in on the time, I would very quickly like to show you also our mobile add-in. So Dieter mentioned that we are capable of tracking calls directly in Teams. This is the add-in available inside of Microsoft Teams. So this is the standard soft form from Teams, and this is ours. And we can see Michael Anderson here. It's my demo user from Salesforce. So the name appearing in my history is the Salesforce contact name. And I could now quickly log out and show what happens if I would now receive a call. So I will ring again. And okay, now we can see how the view could be on the road. So I'm still taking the call in Teams, of course, because the Teams voice needs to be operating inside of Teams. But the most important topic is, if I go here, this is Teams native, I just have the number. And through the add-in itself, I see Michael Anderson. This is the contact informations we are directly getting from Salesforce. So every Salesforce contact trying to reach you on the road, you will get that information inside of Teams. So I will hang up now. And if we would now go back to, oh, that wasn't planned. Need to quickly logging back to Salesforce. So we are just assuming I was on the road, made that call. And if we are now looking to Michael Anderson's activity, we can see that the voice call was still saved in Salesforce. We see in the headline voice call via MS Teams add-in. It doesn't have a phone note because, yeah, obviously it was made on the road, but it's capturing the information of that call automatically in Salesforce. And this was really simultaneously at the moment when I logged back in Salesforce, the call was already there. All right, good. That was the first demo from my side. I think at this stage I can hand over back to Dieter. We still have some enhancements to show and explain.
Thank you, Annika. I'm directly sharing my screen again. And now we are coming to the Teams meeting integration. So, of course, depending on your business, you have, let's say, telephone calls, and then you arrange a meeting with the customer. And this is then exactly also the part we cover. So when you have a meeting and the meeting is over, then you have additional work to do. So you have to see who are the attendees. Do we have all the attendees in Salesforce? Then you have to add a meeting note. And we automate that completely. So when the meeting is over, we create an event. We check, is every attendee in Salesforce? And add new contacts. And of course, we have the links to the recordings and the transcription. Alternatively, we can import the transcription from the meeting, and you can use Einstein to make the meeting recap. So it depends a bit. If you are, let's say, completely on Microsoft and you are using Copilot, then you would do the recap with Copilot and it's in your SharePoint. Or if you have Einstein licenses, then you can, it's then completely automated in an own object. We import the meeting transcription. And so to summarize a bit, once the meeting is over, we create the event in Salesforce with all the information. When was the event started? So the planned start time, but also the real start time, the real end time. You see the attendees in Salesforce who attended the meeting and who was invited to the meeting. We use the native Teams recording, so really everything is in your personal Azure. We also use the native call transcription. And that means, of course, you need the licenses for that one. So in the end, Teams Premium or Copilot licenses, we add contacts which from attendees which are not stored in Salesforce. And we also have the link to the meeting notes. That's technically Loop. So when you have a Teams meeting and you click on the notes section, it's using Loop. And we have the link to the meeting recap done by Copilot. So the idea here is really to automate the process and document it, and you have the standard event in Salesforce. So in the end, you could do everything manually, or you have it completely automated in the background. And here I hand over again Annika. We will do an explanation with a video, because we show how you plan the meeting, and then we have the meeting, and then we see Salesforce. Annika, I'm handing over.
Perfect. Thank you, Dieter. So first of all, we have inside of the workaround that you are creating the meeting inside of your Outlook. It doesn't matter if you enter the Outlook inside of Teams or Outlook directly, but this is the Outlook calendar. All right, so the meeting is set, the invitations are sent out. Now the meeting is taking part. You decide to record that session. So we have a transcription and recording, and now we are in Salesforce, and this information pasting is automatically done from our meeting integration. So it's capturing all the informations, who was invited, who really attended, because it can be very, as we have here, more attendees than was invited. They are directly saved inside of Salesforce. We can even create contacts on that. Then we have here the direct linking to SharePoint. You can have direct access to Copilot to summarize in the transcription. You have the recording, you can play it and watch the complete recording. But we do also have the transcription directly available inside of Salesforce. Yeah, that was fast, but I hope it gave you a good insight about the meeting integration. And I think at this stage, I can hand over back to Dieter.
Thank you. Okay, just need to switch again the screen and start a presentation. I'm there in a second. Okay, yeah, and here we do have really the first presentation of a product which is released soon. Also related to Teams, but something completely different. Availability and contact info allows you to see who is available. So the typical approach from a salesperson is you call someone, then you get the info, oh, he's in a meeting, call back 2 hours later. Then you call back 2 hours later, he's already gone, or he's on holidays. So in the end, a typical salesperson spends a lot of time or wastes time with calls, which can be prevented with our product. And it includes 2 functionalities. One is showing the presence rate of another person worldwide, And another one is an email discovery. It's different to email finders, you know, and it's really installed in under 60 minutes. It's just a package which adds an control on the page layout in Salesforce, and that's it. And yeah, we researched a bit, and there are 320 million people using Microsoft Teams. So the Microsoft Office users are much higher, the number. But these are users who are using Microsoft Teams. That's the precondition that the product works. And what are we doing? Inside the contact or lead page, you see the availability. So in this screenshot, you see he is out of office, but you can also see the out of office message. So technically it's the same. You would write someone an email, then you get a reply email with the out of office message. But this is much better. You directly see here, okay, he is on holidays until October 30th. I don't need to call him now. Yeah, and you see, so we have available now. That's the perfect time to call. You see he's in a meeting. You see away offline, do not disturb, and out of office with the out of office message. And then you just know, okay, yeah, if someone is available, now I try to call him, and it does not matter if you call him with the mobile or the standard phone. And of course, you even do not need to have Office to use that product. So you could use Google Suite completely in your company. The important topic is the other person who you want to call is using Office. And the second functionality is an email discovery, which works with the Graph API. What does that mean? We can, for 100% sure, identify not only the main email address, we can also identify all alias addresses. And that's different to other products who ping email servers and analyze results. This is really checking via Graph API, is that email address existing or not? And yeah, the benefits are clear. You can easily calculate it. If a salesperson has 40 calls per day, 10 are wasted. You save that. And of course, you can connect to more prospects. That's a better conversion rate. And also, if you just have leads without emails, you can find the email address. And the product is intuitive. There's zero training required. You can immediately start. And we are right now in a phase where we want to get feedback from customers. So we have, in the end, a super offer for you. The first month is free. You even do not need to commit to any contract. It's just signing our MSA, and that's it. And we make the installation for you for free. Also, we just need your Salesforce admin for that meeting, install the package, add the component, add a permission set, and that's it. And later, if you give us the feedback, how you like the product and so on, you get 50% off in the first year. And yeah, if you are interested in that offer, just send an email to sales. I'll paste the address later. And we contact you then, and you can directly start and have a look at the product. Yeah, Annika, I'll handing back to you.
Yes, then let me quickly share the screen. All right, we are looking into the right corner here. We have the Unaric availability and contact info inside of the contact. And here we see that Emily is currently out of office. If I hover over through the chat icon, I will get a message if there was a message written to the out of office status inside of Teams. So you can see it here, as well as the email address itself. And if you would really want to be sure, you can also click here and refresh the present state. More interesting, I mean, out of office is out of office. More interesting, it's with a person who has an available or maybe an D&D status inside of Salesforce. So we have here Michael Anderson again, and technically that's my Teams user who has the email address now addressed to this contact. But if you would paste me an email address of yours and you have Teams in a chat and I'm saving it here, I'm reassuring yourself I'm getting your availability. Just kidding. Okay, but let's change my status on Do Not Disturb. And we look back into Salesforce. I refreshed present state, and it's reading it and seeing, okay, it's currently on D&D. I could still check if the status would change. It will also auto-update itself after a specific, I think, a couple of seconds. But if you want to be sure, you can push refresh the status directly. So if I would now go back on available, I could then probably decide to call Michael Anderson. So it's definitely something at the moment when you are thinking if you want to call these contacts to get the direct availability, something that will save a lot of time and also making the rate way higher, that you really reach the person at the moment when they are available inside of their teams. All right, I think that
you could show the email finder quickly, and then we go to the Q&A session.
Yes, let's go to Emily back.
You just click on the search icon in the. So the product is brand new.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. So yes, the email finder itself, it will search based on a domain name and Emily Johnson's first and last name, all available email addresses, even if you would have some hidden ones. So currently we do have 3 matches for Emily Johnson. All of them are out of office. But yeah, any kind of possible email addressed to Emily through that domain can be found to the email finder. Even if you would just assume the domain and put the first and last name of that person because you don't have the email address at all, you could use the email search functionality in this kind of a way.
Yeah. And it's 100% sure that this is the same Emily, but there are alias addresses defined. And so one with EJ and one with Emily. And the main address is Emily Johnson. And then you could even automatically update the contact with the email address found. The main use case of it is, of course, you don't have the email address and you want to search it, but let's say you are also wanting to keep 2 email addresses for safer communication, then you can get here all the email addresses.
All right, thank you, Dieter. And I think at this stage I can hand over and we can go to the Q&A.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dieter and Annika. That was really fascinating to see that array of applications, namely Unaric voice for MS Teams, what we saw first. Also to recap for someone who joined later, then Unaric meetings for MS Teams, and now the new product. We do not currently have questions. Does maybe somebody want to ask a question now?
I think we have one in the chat.
Yeah.
Dieter, that's most probably a question for you. If we can use wildcards in the email finder?
No, that's not working, because that's assuming you have a company with 10,000 users, and here the access works in the way that we can not read a user list. That's only possible in your own tenant, but let's say you want, here we are talking about different Teams tenants, and it's not possible to get user lists. That would be a security topic, that you could read out user lists. So what you need to know is really the domain and the first and the last name. If you only know the last name, then it could work if the company does not use first names in the email address. But we test around 20 or 25 different combinations. So first name dot last name dot first name, last name only, and. But we need to find it directly. Yeah, so there's no wildcard support.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Then we also have a question. Maybe Annika, you want to?
I think this best fitting question also for data. What Azure services would we require or dependencies to be considered prior to implementation?
Okay, we could send you a technical documentation. It's in the end for every product, which permissions we need in Azure, and what you need to do. For the last product, there is no Azure setup. So for the availability product, no Azure setup. It's really, that's why we say technically you can do it in 30 minutes. So there's no Azure setup at all. There's a comprehensive Azure setup for voice and meetings, and you just give us your contact details or send it to sales. Then we can send you the technical documentation, what you would need to prepare if you want to use Unaric Voice for Teams or Unaric Meetings for Teams. Yeah, but the availability product has no Teams because it works without a Teams that you are on a Google Suite or whatever. So there's no setup required for Azure and Teams.
Yeah. So there is another question. Annika, maybe you want to take that?
Yes. So a trial in a traditional way, it would not be possible, because we would most probably, you would like to test it in your environment. So we need to set up everything. That really depends on the product that you are looking for. So something like a proof of concept or anything like that, I would highly recommend that we have a direct check together to look how we could cover that. And yeah, it definitely also based what product exactly you would like to test. Thank you.
Yeah. Maybe a brief question. So we spoke to the aspect of trialing. Could you kindly remind us if you publish pricing tiers or pricing information on the App Exchange, or if that is more of a custom thing that you would agree?
There is pricing on the App Exchange, but we do indeed have different product functionalities. So just for an example, the standard CTI, we also have with limited functionalities. If you say I mostly need in and outbound calls, I don't need SMS and live dashboards and that stuff. And we also have for Teams two different connectors with the different feature sets. So again, here, talk with us, then we check your requirements, and then we can give you a quote. That also depends on the contract length and number of users. So yeah, it's really talk with us, and then once we know the exact requirements you have for voice, then we can make a quote. It's similar for meetings.
Yeah, thanks so much for this. Yeah, we are more or less at the end. Thank you for this great host of information that you've shared with us. I think that was very insightful. We'll also make the video available. And yeah, I hope you will join us for further episodes in the future. We also sent a follow-up email with additional information to the group of Trier. Yeah, thank you so much. Maybe Dieter and Annika, you want to also say goodbye?
Yeah, thank you for having us today.
Yeah, really thank you for inviting us. And yeah, we are happy to follow up after the webinar. You will also get the PDF files from the slides. And if you have any questions, yeah, just drop us an email at sales@unaric.de, and then we follow up.
Yeah. I wish you a good rest of the day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.